Hello, welcome to an announcement video. That's right, I'm crawling out of my Minecraft cave once again to tell you what I'll be doing next. I ran a poll on Patreon of 5 ideas I was interested in exploring, and I was actually really surprised to see what won. I honestly thought nobody was interested in this system anymore, but perhaps over a decade later and with the recent shutting down of the online services, people are feeling a little warmer towards this forgotten middle child. That's right, this is all about the Nintendo Wii U. I've made 2 videos on the Wii U before, and if you've seen those, you'll know I've always had a bone to pick with its primary innovation, the gamepad. Not that it was a bad idea, I mean, the gamepad itself is pretty cool. Having a secondary screen can be pretty useful at times, and playing fully fledged console games semi-portably is great. It's not surprising the Switch basically took that idea and ran with it, with significantly worse joysticks. Technologically, I don't really have an issue with the gamepad, apart from the really mediocre battery life. My main issue is with Nintendo's strategy, namely their refusal to make the gamepad easily replaceable. There was no gamepad product you could buy in a store. You're allowed one, the one that came with your console, and if you lost or broke it, you'd have to plead your case with Nintendo support. I'm still not really sure why they did this. I mean, I wonder what kinds of gaming innovations we missed out on because in any given situation, only one person was allowed to play with a second screen. Nintendo did originally plan to allow more than one gamepad per console, but for some reason it just never happened. My only guess is maybe they thought it would end up being too expensive to sell well. I mean, with the amount of technology that's in a gamepad, it very likely would have cost more than $100. In fact, we know that because in Japan, Nintendo apparently did sell them separately for roughly $104 US. Great, so we can just import some of those and everything would be okay, right? Wrong. Nintendo also saw fit to region lock the damn things so Japanese gamepads will only work on Japanese consoles, just to make this whole situation as annoying as possible. But the biggest consequence of this decision is the second-hand market today. Now that Nintendo doesn't provide any Wii U repair or replacement services whatsoever, the only way to get a new gamepad now is to sacrifice another console. It's led to a whole market of gamepadless consoles that are effectively bricks, and gamepads alone that are jacked way up because the demand is simply that much higher for them. And this is only going to become more of a problem because, as it turns out, controllers are pretty easy to break and lose. As it has been many times in the past, it's going to be up to us to step in when Nintendo falls short. So, as voted by you guys, what I'll be doing over the next few months is designing a cheap, open source, easy to build clone of the Wii U gamepad. Something good enough that you'll hopefully never need a real one. Now I know what you're thinking, someone already did this, didn't they? Sort of. There is an open source tool called DRC SIM which can connect to a Wii U and emulate most of the gamepad. However, it's fairly complicated to set up. You need a Linux system with a compatible Wi-Fi adapter to make the connection, you need to compile custom forks of low-level Linux network utilities, nowadays you might need to use an older distro because none of it's been supported in about 7 years, and it's all just a bit cumbersome to comfortably use as a gamepad replacement. My idea would require no Linux middleman, just an app on your phone and an external USB Wi-Fi adapter to properly connect to the Wii U. In theory, all stuff you might have lying around already. Pretty much any phone from the last 10 years or so maps pretty well to the gamepad. They both have a touchscreen, speaker, microphone, front-facing camera, accelerometer, H.264 video decoding. It's really pretty spot on. The only things missing are, as I said, it needs a little help connecting to the Wii U's slightly custom wireless protocol, and for the best experience, you'd probably want some physical buttons as well. But my design will let you do something as simple as cobbling it together with a regular controller, or I'm also hoping to design some hardware that'll include everything you need and make a more authentic feeling experience. Sadly, there's a good chance this is going to be Android only, and it's not because I didn't want it to be on iOS too, it's just that Apple doesn't really provide the stuff we need to pull this off. But we should be able to do this on just about any Android device running version 4.1 onwards. 4.1 was first released in 2012, so hopefully wherever you are, it should be pretty easy to get one of those for cheap. I don't want to give too much more away just yet, but if you want to follow me while I'm doing this, I will be going into much more detail and posting regular updates on Patreon as I make progress, and I'd really appreciate the help because this will probably take a while. But of course, there will be a regular video out on YouTube when I'm done as usual. Either way, I'm very excited to dive into this, and I hope you're excited to see it too. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll have something good out for you soon. See you then.